Alright, hello and welcome again to another chapter in my woodworking tool series. This one is going to cover sharpening. In most woodworking circles and publications today, sharpening has pretty much come to mean chisels and planes and nothing else. However, any cutting tool you have, whether it be chisels, planes, saws, drill bits, auger bits, will need to be sharpened. Uh, So I'll just go over a few of those right now. For saws, there's only one way to sharpen them, that's filing. First you need a good saw vise. This will lock the saw in place while you sharpen it. You always want to put the saw in so that, obviously so the teeth are facing up. Then most saw vices will have a little lever that'll clamp it in. Now, saws are always sharpened with triangular files because the teeth are triangular. And the size of the file corresponds to the size of the teeth. The more teeth per inch, the smaller your file is going to be. And then, depending on whether your saw is a crosscut or a ripping saw, crosscut, I'll file at about a 30-degree angle across the tooth, skipping every other one, and then you'll take the saw out, flip it around, and then the ones you didn't sharpen last time you'll hit going about 30 degrees across. For a ripping saw, or I should say for a saw that's filed for rip cut, you just go straight across. And most recommend doing the same, skipping every other tooth, then flipping around. I just go right down and file every one, and I've not noticed any disadvantage with doing it that way. In fact, I like it better that way because it saves me time, but that's just my personal experience. Like I said, if you get the Tom Law DVD from Lee Nielsen on saw sharpening, he does recommend skipping every other one, turning the saw around, hitting the other side, just as for a crosscut. And he's the expert. I'm not, so I defer to him. But that's just how I do it. Okay. Now, another tool which uses a file to sharpen it are your auger bit and your countersink bit. And that has a special file called an auger file. This here, there's two sides. One has the teeth cut into the side, the other has it cut into the face. Basically, you use your file to take and run across here to sharpen your flat area. Then you take the edge that has on the side to sharpen up your cutting spurs. You never want to hit the outside because the radius is what you want. That's what's giving you your hole. So if you try to sharpen on the outside, you run the risk of messing that up. So you always want to sharpen your cutting spurs on the inside. And for countersinks, just take the ones that sharpen on the face. I just do a quick little rundown like that all the way around, and that's usually good enough. Now, once your saw was sharpened, I forgot about this earlier. After so many times, you'll have to joint the teeth. Joining the teeth just means bring all the teeth to the same line. You do that by running a file across. This is a special jig made by Lee Valley. It's a combination saw jointer and a scraper sharpener. It has two fences, one set at 45 to the file, one set at 90 degrees. One set at 90 degrees is for joining the saw. Just bring it down and you run it across until pretty much all your teeth are in line. And then you'll sharpen your saw as normal. Then you'll take your saw set. I have two of them. One for regular teeth, one for fine teeth. You'll set it to where you want it, to however many teeth. Then you'll just push the barrel and out, and you'll just alternate, flip the saw around, go down the other side. That'll give you your set. Another tool to do are your scraper blades. A good file. I usually take in good vise. There's a nice little small one like this. You just clamp it on. Put your blade in there. Clamp it up. Use your tool. Use your file jig here, like I said before. This time you'll use the 45 face. Run it across. I'll give you your 45-degree angle on your cabinet scraper blade. Then you take, this is another tool by Lee Valley, part of their Veritas line. And this is a burnisher. You just set that down on top, run it across, and I'll burnish it, giving you your hook on your cabinet blade, which will allow you to use it. So, and those are pretty much oh, here's the other. This is an old Stanley one from the 80s that I got for my regular ones. This one right here I use for the small tooth saws. Now and also if you have bad eyesight like me, I like using this here as a magnifying lens that you just put on top of your head, and there's a light here that you can use to help with sharpening your saw teeth. So now for planes and chisels, you're going to want to use an abrasive on a flat surface. That can be diamond stone, water stone, natural stones, and it can be sandpaper on a piece of granite. I've used most of those. Now, hand on heart, my favorite one are diamond stones. Not only do they cut amazingly fast, they're not as messy as water stones, they don't dish, and they leave a super sharp surface. However, I don't use them because, unlike water stones or natural stones, which is pretty much the whole entire thing's an abrasive, the diamond stone is basically just diamond paste, diamond particles glued onto a flat back, which then and wear off in time. It's basically a glorified sandpaper, but at anywhere from $20 to $100 per stone, that gets expensive. So what I use personally are natural oil stones. The most aggressive grit is the Washita. Then I use an intermediate stone, the soft Arkansas. Then I'll use the surgical black as a finishing. Then I'll finish up with a strop. And basically it's just taking your iron, your chisel, and rubbing it across the stone. That abrades away the metal, giving you a sharp edge. Then after you're done, your final one, you want to take in, remove the burr. Um, Now, a lot of guys recommend doing it freehand. And for some things, you have to do it freehand. Um, but honestly, I prefer using honing guides. I got a couple of them. Right here's one. This is the Mark II honing guide from Lee Valley again. In my mind, probably the best honing guide on the market. I also have a Stanley honing guide as well, and that's the first one I ever bought. And for just general purpose sharpening, I use that as well. But for stuff that, like, I have to reestablish a square edge or something like that, I'll go to the Mark II. What makes the Mark II so great is the attachments. The one attachment here is the angle finder. Just clamp it on, set it to whatever width your blade is. Set your angle here with this little knob. Right now I have it set at 30 degrees, but you can set it anywhere you want. And this has a fence here which automatically puts your blade to 90 degrees. So, and then you can get another attachment here, which is a skew attachment, which you can clamp on, set it for angle, and then set it for the degree of skew you want, like skew chisels, and it'll just give you a consistent angle each and every time. And that's really the whole purpose, is to have a consistent angle each and every time. Finally, drill bits. I like sharpening them on stones as well. What I'll do, I'll just flip the stone over, and then put a little oil on. Then I'll just freehand sharpen. When I get about at the right angle, I about eyeballing the angle up. And I'll just turn it. You don't need to do much to it to get a good, nice sharp edge reestablished, and you're off and going. Finally, I have this thing here. It's for I use it for my carving chisels and my combination plane for the profile cutters. And basically it's just has different moldings on, profiles to match whatever you're sharpening. It has a paste stick. You rub the paste on, then you take the chisel, just rub it back, and then take it, remove the burr on the strop here. And the carving chisels I have, it actually came with it's an artificial sharpening stone with it, so some do, some don't. For little things, for little blades, Lee Valley also has a small blade holder. Not a big fan of it, but you can use it. It's good for, say, like my rabbet plane, which this one is a newer one, a newer Stanley one, the RB10. And technically the blades are supposed to be disposable. But with the small blade holder, you can put them in and get a few more uses out of them. Save yourself some money. So that's pretty much about it. I know I've made some self-deprecating remarks about these, and I know I screw up every once in a while and say something. I did it today too, but if I honestly felt this wasn't of any use to anybody, I would just stop. So yeah, a lot of it's just tongue-in-cheek humor at myself. So anyway, I wish you well. Thanks for following. I appreciate all the words of support you've given me, and I will see you again later.